Bitcoin communities. This is what we hear. You know, we might be from different worlds. We might have like completely different life stories, but we have one common denominator, and that's 21 million. That's something that brings us here. And this is how people start to organize. Whatever people do or whatever people are into. In my presentation, I had like a couple of slides.
Do you want it?
I've got a laptop if that helps.
If that's okay, yes, let's bring it up. Why not? I'll keep on talking, but it would be nice to kind of visualize that. So most of you know me because I do those Bitcoin walks, and this is where we flex the muscle, the Bitcoin muscle, where we kind of repeat an exercise and learn everything we're not familiar with. In this repetitive exercise, when you meet with your peers who are into Bitcoin, who understand this technology, there is always something new you can learn from each other. Because believe it or not, we are all at a different stage of the Bitcoin journey, and Bitcoin means something different to each of us. So we start, understanding more and more, and we get more proficient in doing so. So in martial arts, there is this framework called Shuhari. This is the framework of 3 steps to mastery of something. And it starts with the shu, the first step, where you're supposed to repeat after the teacher, the sensei, senpai, just repeat over and over again until you get to perfection. You don't question why you're doing that. You're just following the best practice foundation, if you like, to follow the rule. You follow the rule. You're not questioning, you're just following the rule. Once you've mastered that, you can move on to the next step, which is called Ha, Shuhari. In the Ha step, you're supposed to make an exception. So you're allowed to make an exception because you're very proficient with the basics, and you can break the rule. So this is the second step. When you break the rule, and something goes wrong, you can always default to the foundations again. So you can always go back to the first step, and has that gone off?
We need to turn it off.
There you go.
And then, yes, there. It
Turns green, right?
It will come on now.
Perfect. Love it. That's a great remote. And then in the third stage, rule, you're transcend. So after you follow the rule, you break the rule, then you become the rule. You transcend. You can do freestyle stuff. You know your shit. You know how to move around the space. And this is very much how I feel that Bitcoin education works, because we're learning so much stuff from mining, from privacy aspects, from the meaning of absolute scarcity, self-custody. The list goes on, and there's plenty to get your head around. So it's impossible for someone to do it on the weekend. It's just, if you're new to Bitcoin, you have to flex the muscle, you have to exercise, you have to repeat over and over again. And what you find is that with like any other sort of exercise that you do on a regular basis, whether it's going to gym, first time you go to the gym, I haven't been for a long time, you can tell, but it feels, weird, not really comfortable, you're out of your comfort zone, you don't necessarily want to be, you're not feeling very, very great, You need to do it like 3, 4, 5 times in a row to start feeling the effects and actually start appreciating what you did to yourself. And it's the same with everything else. So like with Bitcoin, like with dollars cost averaging, don't overcomplicate things if you're new to Bitcoin. I know this is not the audience here, but I always say, jump in and start learning as you do. Don't wait, don't procrastinate. So that's pretty much it. Nice one. I think if we go to that agenda, do you have the agenda? The one we sent on Telegram?
Oh yeah. Is it going to be here?
Yeah. And then there's a Bitcoin communities link somewhere down
Open more tabs.
here. maybe pretty small.
Makes mental
There you go.
never seem like
So back to communities. Communities are important. That's basically people organizing around a common theme. There's communities that are geographically together. So you've got one of the great initiatives happening in Peru called Motive, where basically people in Peru are helping onboard rural, citizens of Peru, of villages in Peru, to be able to use Bitcoin to sell their merchandise, save some money, and like for them this is the only solution because the nearest bank from them is like 4 hours drive. So completely different perspective, completely different world, but some real problems that this is solving. And again, this is a community initiative. Another great community initiative is Bitcoin Akasi. So we saw Bitcoin Neta. We saw that from South Africa, I think, when they have the township and they're educating, they're embracing Bitcoin. So that's super helpful. Then there's a great initiative called Bitcoin Runners. It's another community that is based actually stemming from the UK. Richard and the guys that I met in Madeira, they're really great. And it's what it says on the tin. So basically, it's a group of people who are running, going jogging together, and they're Bitcoiners. And this is how they network. So they get together, they know their crowd, they know their pack, they can learn from each other, and this is really, really powerful. Now, more into the future, there's another one, very interesting community that starts springing up out there. It's called A Place to Be. And A Place to Be is based in Madeira, and it's a family hub for Bitcoin families, where people who share the same values are supporting each other in taking this big step of taking their kids out of the traditional education system and unschooling them altogether and letting them basically do the education on their own. So there's a similar step that people need to make when you transition from the fiat standard, something we're very familiar with, something that we have a blueprint kind of embedded on, to be on the Bitcoin standard. There's a very similar analogy to understand and to acknowledge that the current education system is not built for purpose, and it's not going to last very long as it is, or it's not going to prepare people to be resilient in the future. So I expect that things like youth mental health problems for people who are raised in traditional fiat system education, they will only escalate. They will get worse and worse. People will get more confused. What the alternative brings is a resilient community that kind of follows the pathos of, it takes a village to raise a child. So in a similar spirit, what they do is they create those hubs where they want, we want our kids to be surrounded by the higher achievers, to surround yourself. We're the average of 5 people we surround ourselves with, right? So if you're with your crowd, with people who actually share those beliefs, understand and respect privacy, understand, proof of work, understand technology, you've got a network of people with whom your kids will be growing up, and we have those same values embedded in their mentality. So in this sense, I would say that the communities are super important, and on one hand, yes, privacy is something we need to learn about and keep in mind, but at the same time, I would say that we need to be going out and we shouldn't be afraid. We're strong together. I always say that Bitcoin networking is the most secure computer network out there, but it's also the strongest support network out there, because Bitcoiners are, this is your crowd. This is your, people can call it different things. They call it a sect, a cult, a religion. It's not. It's none of those. If anything, this is kind of enlightenment or a renaissance of humanity that basically will keep on going. We're only going to hear it for 15 years, guys, and already magic starts happening. So 15 years from now, well, we're going to have a nice conversation in a minute. But you know, this whole Bitcoin thing changes the perspective of people around the world. People in Africa who are cut off from electricity now can have electricity because of Bitcoin mining. It becomes profitable again. So they're getting access to things like we've been taking for granted for a generation. And this will be an equalizer to the whole world. So I imagine that in 15 years, our collective consciousness of what this thing does to humanity will skyrocket. You know, there are already great thinkers that were around some 10 years ago, like likes of Gigi or Breedlove or the great Bitcoin philosophers. They think about those things, and collectively their material is out there. They're educating through repetitions and hours and hours of people watching it and absorbing the knowledge and kind of opening their eyes to it. So awesome. So yeah, I've got a couple. That's it. Yeah, so I've got a couple of slides here. So one of the greatest initiatives is 21 World, or however it sounds in every single other language. So 21 in German, 21 in Poland. I'm not sure if the Spanish is 21. 21, okay. And so on. So basically, this is the website. You've got links at the bottom, 21world.world. I do recommend that people check it out. If you go to the next slide, please. We got Bitcoin Runners, bitcoinrunners.org. Again, it's a community-driven thing, right? So they're in real life runners and they're node runners as well. And there might be a moment where we need to know our crowd. We need to know who's around. Next slide, please. Bitcoin Cassie, yeah. So you might have seen or might have not seen it, but basically they did something super creative with all the logos on the shacks in the township in Africa, and they're educating. They want to be making money in Bitcoin, so that's super cool. Next, please. Bitcoin Walk. There we go. So this is the picture from Madeira, and again, this thing is addictive. Like, it becomes part of you, and it's something you're looking. It becomes a highlight of your week. Like, if you've done it, 20 times, 30 times, I've done like over 110 times, I think now. It becomes the highlight of the week that you really look forward to do once again when the next Saturday or next 1,000 blocks pass by, 2008 technically. So you get out there and you meet your crowd, and your partner at home is very happy because they can kick you out, say, hey, just go and talk Bitcoin with your crazy friends. And you expand your knowledge, you expand your perception, and I hope that one day we can have Bitcoin walks in every city, or make that more contagious than it is already. There's already like 15 other cities that Bitcoin walks are happening. Not regularly, not every Saturday, but hey, we're getting there. And also what this creates is an opportunity for the essence of Bitcoin, the peer-to-peer trade. So if shit hits the fan, and if this stuff becomes delegalized somewhere, we might as well be in a situation that that in this place there's going to be a Bitcoin walk. It's going to be a bunch of people coming together for a conversation. I don't want to make it sound too dodgy or shadowy, but it could become a forum for the vexels or the pitches, or basically in real life transaction where there's certain security protocols set up for people to meet up and trade Bitcoin. Next, please. Oh yeah, this is the Bitcoin jungle. Again, something super transformative. If you haven't seen the documentaries on that, basically this is Abuelita, and we can stereotype if you want. But basically, this is a person in Costa Rica who kind of donated or lets Bitcoiners use her her estate to do stuff. And magical things started to happen, like people started organizing, building stuff very kind of organically, attracting more people, just building things around the mindset and living in Bitcoin standard. And I can see that this is, there's going to be more and more places like this, more and more hubs like this, because what happens in Bitcoin is people who are in Bitcoin, they gravitate towards good things. They understand that, okay, we are stronger together, and they understand that the world is not equal. We're not, communists. It's not like the same everywhere. We're going to choose spots, best places in the world that we will build our citadels on. And this already started happening. It's a slow process. It's not very out there, but Madeira, El Salvador, the Bitcoin jungle, these are the oases of Bitcoiners. They will grow stronger, and there will be more of them around the world. So again, this is thanks to the communities, and I think I can live in here.
All right.
So thank you.